welcome
to the Naked Eurovision podcast.
To
the
Naked Eurovision only fans.
Maybe take off your socks.
That's extra.
So actually,
people don't get foot content for nothing.
No.
In 2023.
We actually would love to start also our OnlyFans, where we can be completely naked and not fool everybody.
We've had many requests
and many complaints that like we actually have to wear underwear because of the conservative world we live in.
Exactly.
But we'll be happy to do OnlyFans, but we just need to find a concept. So I wonder if there is any people who are interested that can tell us. And maybe we can
tell us how to start it.
No,
I feel like we know some pretty successful OnlyFans people. They can.
No, I would like to know if there is an interest.
I mean, they've been commenting and liking, writing in to our email.
Tell us if you would like it, and then we will think about something.
Maybe
we are here to just please you.
We're here for you, the Naked Eurovision listener.
Right? Yeah.
We hope you listen naked as well. You can send us videos of you listening to the podcast naked, and we'll post those on OnlyFans
for $5 or euros. So, in the past podcast, in the last 6 episodes that we had, 7
very successful podcasts.
Who can count? We are basically obsessed with San Marino, obsessed with this country. Although this country is like the tiniest, like one of the least successful one that like always have problems reaching the final year by year.
But so much drama.
We are obsessed with that, and we were researching who can we bring to our podcast. And we found the most glamorous diva.
The international star.
Gorgeous singer,
composer,
gorgeous dancer, gorgeous artist. Tanzer.
It's Tanzer.com.
She is Australian. She is lovely. She is hilarious. She brings looks, she brings vibes. She is deep. You can see that there is a lot to it.
She's from rural New South Wales. Came all the way from rural New South Wales to the mighty San Marino, and then to our podcast.
I just want to say that we have a dog walking around. It's a giant dog.
We
so
are not the only naked hairy animals on the floor right now. There's also a giant dog.
Tanzer, we were delighted, and she agreed to be on our podcast.
She was amazing.
She was amazing, and sadly, in order to not distract her with our beautiful nipples, we had to wear something.
Yes.
So
San Marino respect.
Yeah, I mean, we respect our guests to wear whatever they want, and we wanted to keep her focused so you can enjoy it, and we can talk about it later.
Oh, yeah, so this should be much better now.
I can speak whenever you want me to speak.
You hear her?
Yeah.
All right, so should we end the call just to see that we...
Let's end the call and then we can see what we have
All right, I'll be
recorded.
here. Okay, bye.
Bye. See the beep.
There's recording in progress. I heard it in my ear.
Yeah.
Buongiorno.
Hello.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Are we recording?
We.
It says recording, yeah.
Yes, we're on.
So we can officially say good morning, Europe, and good evening, Australia.
Yeah.
Can we
You've got it.
It's very Eurovision.
It's the opposite. It's exactly the opposite. No, it's the opposite of Eurovision.
But we're calling into another country to get their points.
Basically.
Yes, we are. I've been waiting by the phone to be asked to relay the results, but I'm a little too deep a cult figure at this stage in the Eurovision world.
So we are today with
maybe that would be how you doing?
Hello, thank you for having me, and may I commend you on choosing your first guest as me. Out of everyone you could have spoken to in the entire Eurovision universe, you could have
the queue is long.
Johnny
the queue
Logan.
Is long.
Could have spoken to Johnny Logan, could have spoken to Loreen, you could have spoken to Wer'e Serdushka.
We said no, Loreen. We said no.
Yeah.
I think
first on the list.
We need to speak to the singer, the composer, the video artist, the designer, and the DJ. First. Loreen, you can wait.
Yeah, what did she ever do? Nothing. She doesn't even write her own music. Sorry, no, not trash. I think she does write. I'm sorry. Loreen and Loreen fans, I love her.
We can fix it in post.
She certainly didn't achieve the pioneering Eurovision feat of being the first Australian to try out for Eurovision San Marino.
Genau, exactly.
and come 74th.
I mean,
how many? Wait,
this
how
will
many?
go down in the Hall of Fame.
How many were they?
About 300. That's what I wasn't supposed to find out my ranking. It was a secret. I shouldn't even be saying it.
Oh, well, you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
The Eurovision police are going to come and they're going to shut us down.
Yeah, I secretly found out, and I just, I thought it was fabulous. Like once I got over the disappointment of not making it to the last round, like for me, as someone, I'm the kind of Eurovision fan. I was so excited to speak to you guys because I'm that kind of Eurovision fan that not only loves the older Eurovision years and like retro Eurovision, but I'm really fixated with Eurovision entries that come last, Eurovision entries that get 0 points, like all the weird cult figures of Eurovision. And so for me to have this kind of highly publicized in certain circles kind of journey going across the world at the height of Omicron to try out for San Marino of all Eurovision countries, but then to come 74th, behind certain other entries of certain types.
And quality.
I mean, what I find hard to believe
so
is that you were the only one in sequence. How could that possibly be? What type of barren land is San Marino where there was only one Eurovision performer in sequence?
Look, there might have been a moment of sequin applique on another entrant somewhere that I didn't detect. But when I rocked up in my outfit, it was a real moment because I was expecting it to be full of my fellow freaks. I found a couple of other queers.
Yeah.
Full of boomers.
Yeah.
What is this is where we want to delve deep into this for sure. Like, what was the process? From start to end.
Okay.
Like how did it work?
I'll pull up because I'm sure 99% of your listeners have no idea who I am.
We will definitely give you a much bigger introduction as a part of the whole episode that we're going to
okay, great.
record.
Okay, great.
But please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I'll just start with my Eurovision journey.
Yeah.
I, like many of us, have been a Eurovision super fan since I was a kid, and just coincidentally ended up being a Eurovision-ready artist musically in what I was doing anyway, independent of Eurovision. And my whole life, people were like, "Have you heard of the Eurovision Song Contest? You should enter." And I'm just like, "Don't even start. Don't even start." But I never thought about going overseas to try out. And I didn't really think I could because I was Australian. To be honest, I didn't really look into it. I was just happy.
I think that's fair.
Well, I was just happy to be a camp, fabulous dance music artist in my own universe and just didn't really think it was a reality. When Australia was announced to be part of Eurovision, of course, my inbox blew up from all directions, but they were entering the Guy Sebastians and people like that. And so I just didn't even think, that I would get a look in being...
Not having won Australian Idol in the early 2000s.
Not having won Australian Idol and being a particularly cult kind of dance artist in Australia who isn't part of kind of that world. Like, I've never tried out for a reality TV show. I'm not on high rotation on Triple J. Like, I don't have any of those.
You haven't won the Triple J Hot 100?
No.
Nobody's Australian here.
No, people are Australian. They exist. We'll do a deep dive into these unbelievably niche. Yeah, there'll be little like info buttons.
Yeah, little info clouds that pop up.
Yeah.
But when they started Eurovision Australia Decides in 2019, Ella Hooper competed, who happens to be my best friend. Oh. And she got the email saying, do you want to compete for Eurovision? And she was like, "Oh, I don't really want to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
And I want to do
wasted on her.
Well, no, I was really happy for her. At no point, was there like, "Oh, it should have been me," just because if they're asking Ella Hooper, like they're asking people with profiles. And she went to the Gold Coast and recorded her song and came home and was like, this just doesn't feel right not having you in it. She's like, how can I involve you? She said, what instrument can you pretend to play the most convincingly? And I said, probably bass guitar, which I don't play. And so for a couple of weeks, I immersed myself in learning to look like I could play bass and got to
the most
perform.
Eurovision question ever.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I got to perform at Australia Decides with Ella, where I'm not allowed to say this either, but I'm so proud of it, where we legendarily came last. I told her that I cursed her. I said, you're literally inviting the 0 points girl on stage with you.
Well, it's your fetish. It's what you like.
I think people,
it's my kink.
Yes.
It's my kink.
And what a kink.
Yeah,
Australia Decides, we watched that several years ago, and I just was very shocked at how many times they mentioned the Gold Coast.
It wasn't Gold Coast.
It was on the Gold Coast. It was live from the Gold
no?
Coast. Every second word out of their mouths during that pre-selection was, we're on the Gold Coast. Like, we understand.
We understand. We are. We happy we're not.
It was definitely on the Gold Coast. But it was a fabulous time. And of course I was living my best life, getting right stuck into, the behind the scenes, watching how they would design some of the, performances, some of the camera shots. I followed Paul Clark around, who's the head of delegation, as much as I could get away with. And I basically just was living my best Eurovision nerdy life. But every year I would submit my music to this competition in the hope that they would, give me a look in, or even just put me in the highlight reel for the also rans that they do, before the voting, because at the time I was releasing big bombastic kind of pop anthems that would, I think, have been perfect for Eurovision. But I continued to just not get a look in. And last year, I was asked to write a top line for an artist in Poland who was entering the Polish national final, who ended up winning. His name was...
The Rivers guy?
Yes, that's right. Oh. That guy. It's really poor form of me to forget his name, but he's an amazing singer. He was the winner of The Voice, like semi-operatic. And the song that he sang was actually the same song that I was given to write vocals for. But they obviously chose someone else's. I wrote what was well, no, like it was so exciting. Like I was given it because the woman working with the publishers was like, I know just the person, for this job, and sent it to me. And it was so exciting because it was Eurovision, but his music's very different from mine, and it was kind of very modern, kind of Justin Bieber-y kind of production. And, I'm this camp early 90s, born in the wrong era, intergalactic disco diva. But I did my best, wrote what was probably the worst song of my life, but it did get shortlisted. So that was exciting.
Under pressure.
When it was...
I write you have a specific goal where you write a song for. I guess it doesn't come as natural. It's just like having a song that you thought about yourself, and you're not aiming for something, for a specific goal.
Yeah, and a lot of pop songwriters do that all the time. They do it every day. They just walk in and bang out 3 different song ideas a day. But for me, I don't. And I had to sit there and go and listen to a lot of his music and familiarize myself with his voice. And it's me kind of singing down here, with his vocal range and stuff like that. But it's not as camp as it sounds. That demo will never see the light of day. Absolutely. But in the process of it being shortlisted and me getting excited, I was like, well, he's still competing for Poland. What's the process? And I researched and saw the process for Poland. And I was like, I wonder if someone like me could get a look in Eurovision at all. And I literally just started Googling most countries, just because I once again got the no thank you from Australia.
Yeah. Good riddance to Australia.
Because I'd written a song called Fantasy, which I thought would be fabulous for Eurovision. And I sent it to Poland. I sent it to Germany before realizing there were a lot of terms and conditions that I was Google translating.
That's basically Germany in a blurb, terms and conditions.
Yes. And some of them I hadn't quite figured out that I wasn't quite eligible, not being a citizen of the country. Like I could have entered Melody Festival, and if there was somebody on my team who was Swedish.
Oh, really? So it just has to be a member of your team. I love that. Just someone within a 10-meter radius of you is Swedish, you can join Melody Festival.
Yeah, my great-grandfather is Swedish, but like not in a documented way that I would be able to wave in the face of Melody Festival.
I once bought a Swedish flag. You're in.
I got one from Lena Philipsson in Eurovision 2004. She handed it to me in Turkey, yeah. Wait,
one of my favorite Swedish entries.
But San Marino has no bureaucracy because they have 30,000 people and no one to compete because the same person went 4 times, where you actually also stayed in her Airbnb, which we want to hear everything about.
Yeah, we also want to dig deeper into that.
But how did it happen? Like what with San Marino? Like what was the song? Tell us everything.
Okay, so San Marino I discovered for the first year ever.
Was a country?
It's a microstate.
Was it a country?
They don't have their own televoting even. It was too little people. Really?
That's right. They'd launched an international search for their Eurovision entry in collaboration with Turismo San Marino. So it was absolutely kind of designed and funded to bring people from like all the rejects like me who can't represent Eurovision in their own country to come to San Marino, enjoy the picturesque country and try out for your dream. And of course I hired Valentino's Airbnb.
Amazing.
What better way to complete my dream come true?
Yeah.
Wait, did you have to pay money for your flights, for your stay, for everything? Anything?
Everything.
So this is how they do it. They just take wishful artists and make them come to San Marino.
I mean, but what?
Tell them, you might participate, and then they just take the good money.
I mean, it's amazing. It's like you probably increase the tourism.
It costs money to apply. Because I applied early last time, I think I paid €50 or something.
Okay.
But I looked this year
Accessible.
and I think it went up I think this year it went up to $150.
Wow.
Like it went up.
Because I believe there was like over 1,000 entrants this year.
No, 400, I think. No?
Yeah.
I think there are certain figures that get thrown around when plugging the success of the competition that might not necessarily be based in reality.
They're just counting tourists in the country. They're like, all of these tourists are here to compete for our Eurovision pre-selection national final.
Yeah, I sent them, they have this thing on their website that says, send us your song and we'll give you a professional opinion on whether it's kind of up to scratch to enter. And so I did that when I was here, and I was actually shooting the music video for the song because I was just going to put it out anyway. And I was shooting the music video in full drag when I got the email saying, we're delighted to tell you that you're good enough to enter.
And
I was like, oh,
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, absolutely. And to cut a long story short, because I had so many friends direct messaging me every day going, oh my God, I heard you're applying for Eurovision. I started talking to my phone and like doing daily updates about it.
Yeah, I watched that.
Just instead of sending 20 DMs every day. And as a result, people that were beyond my friends and my existing people who follow my music started finding it. Eurovision fans started finding me. And I think people kind of liked the idea of, this camp underdog who wasn't recognized by Eurovision in her own country, going to the ridiculous lengths of traveling to San Marino in desperation for this glory. And,
we would all do it. We would all do it.
We would all do it. But yes, I paid to enter. I paid for flights. By then, luckily, it was really surreal. People started buying like my MP3s on Bandcamp, but paying like $200 for them.
Oof.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's impressive. So you created like a whole grassroots community just to get you to compete for San Marino.
It was really surreal. But I thought, okay, if people are invested in this story, maybe I can have like a subscription. I can do like close friends to give you like the tea that I'm not comfortable saying on a public forum, and like I didn't, even if you send me $5, you know, like you can be part of it. And it absolutely helped because I would not have been able to afford it otherwise. Because not only did I have to fly to San Marino and get there and pay for accommodation, Valentina's Airbnb was very affordable, by the way, like too affordable.
Accessible.
She's a socialist.
Yeah, it was but anyway, more on that later. But the whole competition went for the span of, I think, a month and a half. So wow. I had to go, should I just not book my return flight and just see what happens? Or should I book it optimistically and go, if I get knocked out, I can go do something else? And I had so much support by then. I was getting like national media. I was having radio stations ring me up going, tell us about this crazy journey. And
it's the journey. It's the journey.
It's absolutely the journey. And I got there and Valentina's Airbnb is beautiful, like mountaintop views. It was snowing when I got there.
Oh my gosh.
Did you meet her? Did you meet her in person?
Did she check you in? Did she do a little tour?
It's her spare room in her house.
Oh my gosh. So you lived there with her?
I lived there with her and hung out with her for 3 days, chatting over wines for hours.
Oh my gosh.
Into the wee
I would have
hours.
paid whatever.
Maybe we should do like take the podcast on tour.
No, you can just,
we can go and stay in her room, record a podcast from her spare room.
She didn't answer me on Instagram. Who does she think she is?
Surely you can put in a good word for us.
Valentina's actually not super active on socials.
I should have invited her on Airbnb then, probably. Probably. If I send a request.
She's not super active on socials, but I get the impression that most people who book her Airbnb are fans, so she's very used to it, and she's super welcoming, super lovely. But I think with us, we found that common thread, of being divas from outside the Eurovision world, who stepped inside the crazy Eurovision pool, and she told me all about it and her experiences and what it did and didn't do for her career. And
what do you think?
She was very generous.
What do you think about her songs that she sent to Eurovision? She was 4 times. The first one was the Facebook song that they had to change to the social media song that sound today so dumb, but also back then it sounded dumb.
It was a different time. The internet was new.
No, it was not. It was 2012 or 13.
No. Okay. When the Facebook song came out, when it was brand new, it was already wildly bizarre. Like it went viral because people were like, what is this? But Valentina told me like it wasn't meant to be her. They had some other woman lined up to sing it. And the story was they had another woman lined up to sing it who dropped out at the last minute. And Valentina was a well-known jazz singer in San Marino, like prolific, proper, like kind of scatting jazz singer, like who gets gigs overseas, like a really accomplished musician. And they're like, we know this fabulous jazz singer. She'll be perfect for the Facebook song. And she came in at the last minute, not really understanding, the epicness of it all. And of course she killed it because she's a pro, but it wasn't her, it wasn't her style. It wasn't her style of singing. Like she didn't choose the song. She didn't write the song. She was just cast in that role.
But she got bitten by the Eurovision bug. The San Marino bug.
Well, the story with those 4 Eurovision entries is they were all written by the same guy. Because entering Eurovision is very expensive for any country. And San Marino obviously doesn't have heaps and heaps of money coming out of their TV network that's in the Eurovision Broadcasting Union. And I may be wrong. Apologies to the Eurovision super experts who are listening to this, because I might be fluffing the story a bit. But from what I understand...
Please fluff.
Yeah, from what I understand, this German composer, who I think's name is Ralph Siegel.
Ralph Siegel writes all the songs. I didn't even know. Yeah, he wrote the Winning Stone in 82 for Germany. Ralph Siegel. This is how he became famous. And he writes songs every year, all trashy, all kitsch, all Schlager that are irrelevant. Wow, he writes all the songs.
He wrote the Facebook song. He wrote Vola. He wrote Maybe. He wrote Spirit of the Night, I think.
He writes Maltese songs all the time, yeah.
Wow.
And those San Marino entries, from what I understand, once again, apologies, super experts if I'm wrong. From what I understand, he funded the whole Valentina's entries every time, and probably liked working with her because she's obviously a great performer. Like, she nailed every song. Like, whether or not you like the music, she's really on point.
And so San Marino's Eurovision entries were funded by one man.
Yes.
That is amazing.
He sang the famous song "Let's Get Happy and Let's Be Gay." Remember, Germany,
yes,
2003.
Of course,
You wrote that. Also, "I Can't Live Without Music" with Corina May in 2002, what we talked about with the blind singer.
The blind singer.
Yes.
God. Wow. Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, a Eurovision legend. Anyway, so he did all that.
Nightmare.
And because, San Marino basically prior to this competition didn't have the funds to be able to put on their own thing. That guy that entered twice, Serhat.
Yeah, it's Turkish guy.
He funded himself.
So San Marino has a long history of people self-funding their Eurovision journeys.
Israel used to do the same.
Had I have known, sorry, I keep talking over you while you.
No, I keep talking over you.
Please.
We're 2, you're 1. We give you like.
Go had I known and had I been a millionaire, I could have gone to San Marino and paid my way into the early 2000s for sure.
Yeah.
You're the sweetest thing that I've ever seen. Hold on to me. Too good to be true. Little darling, you make me believe.
I rocked up on the morning of my audition, which was the last day to audition. I got very homophobically scheduled at 10 a.m. I performed in front of 3 judges who were all record executives and kind of management types from Italy. I think one of them was from San Marino. But everyone that auditioned had to also attend 2 sessions called Accademia, where you're basically taught how to be a star. And it's in Italian, and it's stuff like, you have to make sure, you're creating high quality content online, and you need to make sure that you're unique and you have a story.
You should learn it. Can we go just for that?
Maybe we could do the school.
No, we could.
It was wild. It was wild, and I've got to say, I was sitting there, being like a diva of a certain vintage who's been at it for ages. I was sitting there in my full regalia, like at this academy, going, "Oh, I'm a star. Wait till they see me. I'm going to blow them away." And then I got up, and I was so. It wasn't the greatest vocal performance of my life, but I thought I did great. And certainly enough to get through to the next round. And so I felt pretty confident. Everyone loved me except the judges, who were kind of just watching me stony faced. And when I finished, they were just like, next.
They didn't even say thank you.
They give nothing away. They give nothing away.
They didn't say thank you or anything.
I think they said thank you, but I didn't get the response I was expecting coming from the other side of the world in scintillating sequins with my hotel room composed 3-minute key change banger. Certainly didn't get a smile cracked among the 3 of them.
Yeah. And when did the answer come, actually? Like how?
It came excruciating, like 3 weeks later. I ended up, of course, DMing a bunch of people who were on my day. They're like, "Oh, I didn't make the cut in the TV show." And stuff.
Were you on the TV show?
Of course, I made the cut.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, in my regalia, of course, like they had to. But yeah, I felt pretty confident. But yeah, they had to do those things. But there was also the hilarious fact that the competition was designed to let these 300 entries in, make them go through 2 months a month and a half of competition. And then I think they chose 8 at the end for the grand final. And then the 8 who made it to the grand final then had to compete with 8 established artists from Italy.
Who just came in at the last minute. Already, I think. But you know that like Eiffel 66 or 65 participated this year for San Marino? Like they won the pre-selection?
Yeah.
Like I'm blue, I'm green. They participated in the pre-selection. Yeah. But say, what do you think about the guy who won, like Achille Lauro?
I think Achille Lauro is stratospherically famous in Italy.
Yeah.
Like he's like Harry Styles vibe famous.
Okay.
Like he's dressed head to toe in Gucci. $1 million record company deal, covers of magazines. He is a huge star.
Queer,
no,
right?
he's not queer.
You think it's not queer? You think it's queer biting?
Oh
Like-
my
I know.
gosh.
I know from the community, from the queer community in Italy, that he's not queer. Like they're all a bit about it because they're like, he's queer baiting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He's not queer. But you
Certainly
know,
not queer
he-
biting.
Certainly not
You could
queer
bite
baiting,
some
but I don't
queers.
know. Yeah, like an Italian guy doing a same-sex male kiss on Eurovision is
Groundbreaking.
still a great thing to happen, and whatever. Achille Lauro is an amazing coup for San Marino to have represent them at Eurovision.
It's colorful, it's bold, fetish outfit on the cow.
And you could tell
Cool.
from the performance that he had the budget to create something really spectacular.
Yeah,
he had to sponsor it himself. And I have another question. It's completely different though. Like under all this bold personality and the big songs and big music, do you bring also something fragile? Do you feel like that you have a side of you that like is represented differently?
Yeah, and I think the Eurovision journey for me brought that out of me on the stories that I was making, because I was alone the whole time because I was trying not to get Omicron. I was, especially at the beginning, I was quite isolated. I felt a lot of pressure on myself. I'd never entered a competition before. I'd never auditioned for anything really before. And I've been in the music industry for a while and had a lot of rejection. And I created Tanzer and my world as a response so I could have the life I want and create the art I want without anyone gatekeeping or stopping me from having opportunities. And it's been so fabulous. And so to put this project that, you know, has become my life and has afforded me such a beautiful existence, to then put that in the context of a competition with people who, you know, have very different prerogatives, and to be watched, you know, by quite a few people on social media, it was a lot. And I certainly cried on camera. There was a particularly memorable night where I did yoga and ended up crying on the yoga mat afterwards saying, oh, it's just but it was really beautiful because the messages I got and the support, it was so, before Eurovision, I was so scared of showing my personality or showing vulnerability because it just seemed so cringe. It seemed so cringe, and it didn't really seem like anything I would benefit from sharing. Like I love putting my project out there. I love being Fabulous Tanzer and putting my art out there and being camp and chatting on camera. But I'm really introverted, and my personal life, never really shared it before. Even though with my friends, I am an open book. I'm a Scorpio rising. You know my life story in the first 5 minutes. But all of a sudden it started coming out on socials, and my vulnerability, I think, just brought people closer to me and the project and the dream that I think we all had. So many of my friends were in lockdown back in Melbourne or having COVID, and they're just like, you're living this dream for us while we're stuck here. I think it was the timing of the story that made it
so special.
well.
We're going to have to, I think we've got a few.
Yeah, I want to play a game with you. Actually, I want to play a game.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said it like you love the last places. You are obsessed with them. And there is this game that if you could change the winner and the last place entry, if you would do it. So we can go through years. I wonder if we have time. I need to do it really quick. And then to see, what is your favorite Eurovision? Which year?
1997.
1997.
Amazing.
Ooh, okay. Who was first? First was Love Shine a Light.
Horrible.
And who was last?
0
Wait, let's see.
points.
0 points? Yeah, wait. And who was last?
There were 2 0 points.
Norway was one of them.
San Francisco, Norway.
Yeah.
And Portugal with Antes do Ades.
Would you swipe between them? Like
the winner for me that year. The winner for me that year was Iceland, Paul Oscar Min Hinsti Dance.
So sexy when he sits on the sofa. You know, they had to play the song last because it was not kids, like, how do you call it, safe. He was like sexy
so
leather
racy.
outfit. Oof, he was so sexy.
It was so
Amazing.
racy for Eurovision at the time. And it was the first queer moment of Eurovision ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
nothing had ever happened on Eurovision before like that. They'd had gay stuff.
True,
They'd
yeah.
had Gina G,
yeah.
you know, but like what Paul Oscar did was queer, and he was a crooner. He was a drag queen. He was approached to do Eurovision. I don't think he particularly even kind of wanted to do it, and ended up being the most sexy, sophisticated, slick, gorgeous thing. That was absolutely my winner. It's one of my favorite entries of all time. He's still my hero. He's my number one.
Yeah.
Last is Katrina and the Waves. I hate that song.
Yeah. It was like also so sweet and sugary, like enough. Love doesn't shine a light. Leave us alone. Katrina. And this comeback thing, like,
It was in the era where the UK and Ireland won all the time with these earnest songs.
Oof.
Yeah. And it's not my favorite era of winners, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they only just won because it was in English, and then they had to change let everybody sing in English or whatever language they want in 1999. It was like always the advantage. Yeah. But okay, we have less than 1 minute. So, okay, a few seconds. So what, we're going to say goodbye, or what are we doing?
Or do and we're back.
Amazing. I would like to hear more about your experience as a Eurovision fan. So let's continue the game because I liked it. So let's go Eurovision 98. Last place, first place. Would you swap? Winner, Dana International, Diva. Last place, Switzerland, Gunvor, last in.
I mean, would you swap Dana International? That's a very loaded question.
What do you think?
Okay, I have a double-sided question to this. Number one, of course, I wouldn't knock off Dana International. She's one of the most iconic, special, fabulous, important winners in Eurovision history. I would never. But the entry that came last that year, it's actually a really incredible story. She was one of the favorites to win at the beginning, and she was marketed as a kind of Celine Dion, the next Celine Dion, expected to come in with this power ballad and blitz the competition. But basically the media just got her. I can't remember the full story, but it's been detailed in this amazing book that I heartily recommend to all Eurovision fans called Null Point. And it's and it's written by I need to get off my bookshelf. Hang on.
Oh my God, yes. Book club. We should do a book.
We should start a book club. Yes.
Yeah.
Tim Moore.
Tim Moore, who's a travel writer, and basically I think he wrote this in 2004, 2003, and he went to every country to visit every entry that got null point and interviewed them about the experience and the fallout. She was, what country did you say Gunvor was?
Switzerland. Yeah. It's performed number 5 with this glittered red dress and like kind of like a strawberries top or something.
No, I actually think Gunvor's outfit was black. Anyway.
No, red.
I could be wrong. The main gist of the story is that she was massacred by the media and kind of slut-shamed because they found out she was a sex worker. And at the time in the 90s, it was catastrophic for her career. Yeah. And she ended up getting 0 points based on the controversy.
That is
horrible.
Wild.
And so that's why I also, while I'm never going to knock off Dana International, I want justice for Gunvor.
Yeah,
that can be
justice for Gunvor. I want a T-shirt.
Yes, we should create merch.
Let's continue. 99. Winner is Charlotte Nielsen at the time. Take Me to Your Heaven. Last place.
Happy for her. Happy for her. But number 2, Selma, All Out of Luck, should have won for Iceland. She was so robbed.
Yeah, but she kind of stole the performance of Carola from 91, I have to say. With the 2 dancers at the back, the raincoats. It was dancing like, yeah. But the last place was...
It's an interesting connection, but I respectfully disagree.
Okay. We created like also a beef between us now. No, but the last place was Lydia with No Quiero Escuchar, that she was dressed up
robbed.
like a sun, like how do you call it, sun umbrella? Like
a parasol.
Like a parasol with this weird heart here.
There were a lot of robbed entries that year. She was one of them. I think they were just voting down for the dress and not for her fabulous performance, because she was great. The song was a bit boring. I'm not a big fan of kind of sentimental ballads in Eurovision, so I'm biased, but I think she did really well. I don't watch Eurovision to be sad.
But why?
No, you don't think? I feel like sometimes it can be nice.
I don't care about people's negative feelings.
Amen.
How is your negative feelings?
Spoken
you
like
let them
Australian.
out. You keep them to yourself.
I let my negative feelings out via the medium of fabulous diva dance.
But when you take off the makeup and like the hair and the nails and
but for the right price. For the right price. What was I going to say? Yeah, there were a lot of robberies that year. There was also, I think it was Greece or Cyprus, had this woman that looked a lot like Jerry Halliwell. I just remember the song was Thane Erotas, and it was this song that was unfortunate. Yeah, there was like a ballad for like too long. Like it was a ballad for 2 minutes, and then at the end it became this camp dance song that was amazing.
They thought it was going to win.
Scored really badly.
Yeah, they thought it was going to win.
It
performed. Yeah, it was performed between Sweden and Iceland. It was exactly in the middle, and that's why it was like, and then. But yeah, Cyprus was amazing. So much glitter.
Yeah. It was a great year.
Yeah, it was. So last one. 2000. The two elderly men from,
oh my God,
from Denmark.
Disqualified.
Fly on the wings of love. That was the worst. Belgium with Envie de Vivre.
Oh no, that deserved it.
She dressed up like a sofa.
My winner that year, of course, anyone with a brain would choose Brainstorm.
3, 2, 1.
My star.
I thought Estonia.
Latvia. Are you kidding?
I thought
what was Estonia?
Ines. Once in a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but look, tell us about Brainstorm.
she's the gay icon choice, I think. You know how every year there's like the diva who's like the gay. She's the big. She wasn't quite in this thing, but you know how in today's Eurovision there's always an entry every year that is like a very beautiful, glamorous, aggressive woman, like Fuego, like
yes.
What's the one last year? Chanel Slow Mo.
Like
every year there's one of those, and she was that one that year, but she wasn't aggressive.
No, it was before aggressiveness. Also, she was like 17. Because I'm 17 only, once in a lifetime. Yeah.
There's a really amazing documentary on YouTube about Estonia in Eurovision that has her in it. And because I think he was British or she was British. Some journalists went to Estonia after they won, after that weird entry with the two guys won. Come on, everybody does
Tanner Petter and the other guy.
Yeah, and they went to Eurovision afterwards to kind of see the fallout and how excited everyone was that Estonia finally had a place on the Eurovision map. They spoke to Ines, who was like the Britney of Estonia, who'd started dating the guy from Come On Everybody, and they were like the posh and Becks of Estonia.
Oh wow!
He was her backup singer in 2000. Tanner Petter. He was.
Right. Yeah, right. There you go.
So cute.
And but the documentary is wonderful and such a good watch if you're interested in weird Eurovision retro culture like I am. But yeah, highly recommend.
I'm going to have a call with you one-on-one after that because I want to talk to you about everything. I never met somebody who is so knowledgeable and enthusiastic about Eurovision.
I have so much more to say. Like even modern Eurovision, I have so much to say. Who's your favorite for this year?
That's hard.
It is hard. I feel like this year there's a very strong competition. My like underdog favorite is Denmark, but only just because everyone hates them so hard online. And whenever they're included in the top 10, it's Riley, this like
breaking my heart.
Breaking my heart. But this is the exact reaction when anyone mentions him online, everyone's like, no. But there's something that I really love about it.
I do agree that he's underrated. I'm just also biased because I'm such a retro Eurovision fan. I hate it that modern algorithm Nova FM music has infiltrated Eurovision. Like it sounds like it's been written by like music that's been written by AI is what I think that Denmark entry is in that genre.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if any music could be written by AI, it would be Eurovision music. So
it's true.
We're only a couple years away. And
wait, what is your favorite?
Yeah. I'm not like I'm not completely gripped by anything this year. Like there's usually something I really love. Like my modern entries that I love are entries like Hatari from Iceland and entries like, you know, Maneskin from Italy, and like the ones that like are a bit different but are kind of just exciting artists in their own right, or like really bizarre, you know. I really loved a few years ago that Portuguese entry with those two queer guys, Telemóveis. And it didn't make the final. It was so cool, and they were wearing like these kind of sculptural green outfits. It was really cool. Like they're the kind of entries that I like.
With a statement, with
Eurovision.
personality. Maybe as the last question, what is your favorite Australian song of all time?
Australian Eurovision song.
Yeah, obviously, like Australian songs, but how do we know?
By a mile, 2000 and whatever, by Electric Fields.
2000 whatever.
But this is the pre-selection. This is the pre-selection. You talk about the pre-selection. This is the pre-selection of Australia.
Yeah,
they didn't win.
They came second. They came second
in the pre-selection. I feel like some years the best songs do come from the pre-selections for sure. The national finals are the gifts that keep on giving.
I noticed that blank face you gave when I said 2000 or whatever, though. Both of you urgently need to be.
He doesn't know the song. He doesn't know the song.
As soon as this call is over, you listen to that and you tell me that couldn't have won the whole Eurovision competition.
But they used to play it a lot in the EC radio. Do you follow the EC radio? It's like literally my no. You don't listen to the music there, but they play all the classics. They played it all the time, and I was like, okay, didn't love it.
I'm more of a fan of the cultural oddity of Eurovision than the music. Like I'll never listen to the music in my normal life.
You're missing out. You're missing out.
I have taste. I prefer the weirdness of the competition. Like my favorite thing to do besides watching Eurovision each year is to look up the compilation videos of like every entry that came last in Eurovision since 1956, and then they play like little snippets of every song. I could watch that stuff for hours. Like that's what I love.
Snippets of Eurovision songs, it gets me hard. It's like the best way to experience Eurovision.
It's the ADHD, like ADHD realness of our generation. He loves like the 10 seconds in the end of the competition. Like this is what it's supposed to be. Like,
they like boil down each song to its essence, and that's basically all Eurovision is. It's just like essence.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
But thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've met someone who has more Eurovision knowledge than my co-host.
I don't know about that.
I'll beg your pardon. We have different knowledge. We have different, but you actually are well read.
There's enough knowledge.
You're more educated about Eurovision than me. That's for sure. I'm going to buy the book.
Reading my Eurovision book on
as
camera
you pick up
now.
Oh, you can read. Oh, this is not so friendly to our alphabetic. Alphabetic.
I wouldn't.
An alphabet viewers.
No,
it's not very inclusive.
Illiterate.
I wouldn't say I know more than you. I think my knowledge is extremely niche, but so is everything in my life.
So is everything Eurovision niche.
Yeah, but it goes to the mainstream, I think.
But I don't feel strongly about either. But I do hope that Finland beats Loreen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like if Loreen wins, it is extremely obvious. Yeah. But I do love it. She's amazing. Her voice is so powerful.
Yeah. She's like a great person. She's a great person as well.
Yeah,
she's an activist, human rights.
She has amazing fashion. Like everything she wears all the time. All of the other Eurovision contestants, every time you see them, they're in the same thing. She's constantly bringing out the fits.
Because she's like,
I have full respect for Loreen. Full respect. I think she's so talented.
But I understand that if she does win, it does feel predictable.
It will be boring.
It feels predictable, and it's just the same. Like even though Euphoria, is a really untouchable Eurovision classic. It's. I'm not going to say it's a similar song, but like it's not that different. And it's not like she's not bringing a different.
It's a one-trick pony. One-trick pony there for sure.
But what a trick!
Which is fine. But I'll be happy if the cha-cha-cha wins.
Yes,
because at least
some flavor.
He's great.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again.
Have a great evening.
And that little break in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna write you. I'm gonna write you, honey. Accept my following.
Please. Yeah, you can get me back anytime to argue about what's good and what isn't in any given year. I'm available.
Yeah.
Very fun.
And share us. Maybe we're going to be famous together. And then we can do like a whole series of like interviews. You can join our podcast. We need a strong voice.
This is
by
true.
the side of the world.
I need a reason
Our Australian
to
correspondent.
Yeah, you need a reason. Yeah. We're going to get you the visa. We're going to hire
Getting
you.
out of Australia is reason enough.
Is part of podcast a reason for a visa, according to the German authorities?
Maybe I think they're probably looking for podcasters in your
we need it.
in Germany.
After this episode, your fame is obviously going to stratospherically spiral up into the stratosphere.
Our fame.
And
all of our fame,
and
yes.
our lives, and our lives will change.
Never be the same. I get excited.
Yeah.
Where were you when? On the 29th of April at 11:30. This is the beginning of the beginning.
Absolutely. When I said all those horrible things exposing the San Marinese Eurovision competition, thus
we can
ruining
bleep
my chances
anything.
of ever being- No, it's fine.
We can bleep it, and we could add out anything and post that will get us in trouble with the Eurovision police. Don't you worry.
No, we're not there. Never.
No, I think
You're
that was
safe
all
with
right.
us. You're safe with us.
Love you. Thank
Love
you.
you too. Thank you so much. Good
I
night.
hope I was a good guest. I was a bit more serious than I thought I would be. I just got so into it.
That's great.
No.
Also, it was beautiful to hear all your fan knowledge. That was really great. Deep in the weeds.
We are deep. Cute.
I'll send you my favorite Eurovision playlist.
Oh yes,
Amazing,
please
yes.
do. That would be great.
Yeah, with all my picks.
And then we can fight for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you? How could
Yeah, we
you
can rate it. We'll
ignore
rate the
that
playlist
song?
on the podcast and see
Yeah.
what you have to say.
Can't wait.
Amazing.
Right.
Well,
Thanks.
I'll let you
Bye,
go. I could
darling.
talk about this
Bye-bye.
forever. Bye, darling.
Yes.